What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another The Baddest Cast with Mediocre Dude.
That's me! I'm here! I did it!
Hooray! And then, of course, there's myself, Sjotyme.
I hope you're really not using that.
Sjotyme, a.k.a.
Okay.
For gosh darn sake.
Keeping it clean.
So our last yeah, we're keeping it clean. We're keeping our
nose. For how long?
We're keeping our nose clean, boys and girls. So our last podcast, we had Shondo on. So everybody applaud. It was great. We did the Xbox versus PlayStation 4, or Xbox One versus PlayStation 4. That was a really good time. So we're back to our normal format, where it's just Mediocre Dude and myself. You could expect Shondo, on the podcast occasionally.
With my permission.
Yeah, with Mediocre Dude's permission. And, if the topic is right. It's got to be a topic Shondo likes to do. So basically, moving forward, we're going to start our fifth podcast today.
Oh my god, number 5.
Number 5. So we're rolling right along. It's really great. It's good to start a podcast, but when you're at the number 5, you're moving forward. It just shows that you're really, you're putting your best foot forward and just going at it. Like, you're not giving up. So, like I was saying, basically this podcast, it doesn't come out as much as we'd like, but we can do it when we can. Mistake that I made last time. I waited too long to post the podcast, and some of our listeners were not the happiest about that, and it makes sense. So I'm gonna try to post this within the week after this is recorded. As I look at Kramer staring right back at me. So, anyways, the topic for today is going to be Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo Switch just came out, I believe, March 3rd.
We're a little late with this one.
At the date of this recording, it's April 3rd. So it's actually exactly a month since the Switch is launched. So actually it's not...
But I'm sure it's still sold out everywhere, so it's current.
It's probably sold out everywhere. I'm not going to say where, but I work at a major retailer store, and they're always sold out of it. But what retailer store actually ever has any Nintendo systems anyway? You can't even find a Wii U.
I think they do that on purpose.
I know, that's what I feel too, and that could be part of our part of our discussion here today. But basically, so the Nintendo Switch came out. I want one, right? But why? Because the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Obviously, that's the first thing. Like, that's like the biggest reason for the system seller. But the Wii U also has Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
But the Wii U is a Wii U.
What does that even mean? Mediocre Dude.
It's a Wii U. I mean, there are a few great games on Wii U, but I don't want to be caught dead owning a Wii U.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You pick up that screen there, and it's like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
And even
I could be playing Game Boy Advance,
right,
over this.
And even though the Nintendo Switch is essentially the same concept, it is such a better iteration of it.
It's almost as if it's taking what the Wii U did, and just like you said, just refining it.
Yeah. In
a way. I don't own a Wii U. I own a Nintendo Wii. So I might as well just say I own an NES. I don't own a Super NES. I own the Nintendo GameCube. I own a Nintendo 64. So I'm a pretty avid Nintendo guy. I've been playing Nintendo for my whole life. I was born with a Nintendo in my household. I think the Wii U is great. That's a system that I want to get. And I think I'll actually pick that up before getting the Switch, just because I realized Zelda's on it. Back to the original point. I'm
annoyed that the Wii U didn't even get a price drop. And
it's
out of production now, so it might actually be more expensive and harder to find.
That's the crazy thing, right? I was actually thinking that. And that's bullshit.
So what I'm hoping is that some of the good Wii U titles make their way to the Switch.
Yeah.
So this is happening with Mario Kart, which is great.
What's happening with Mario Kart exactly?
Mario
they
Kart
just ported
8 is getting a deluxe edition for Nintendo Switch.
So they're basically doing the HD remake stuff now.
Yeah, kind of.
For the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, the system seller is Breath of the Wild. There's the 1-2 Switch game that's on there. I know there's Bomberman, which I heard is a ripoff for the price of $50. I can't remember any other games.
I played one about scissors.
Let me consult for my phone here.
What's it called? Like Snipper Clippers.
Oh, Snipper Clippers.
Yeah.
That's definitely one. Let me.
That's an interesting game, actually. I only played the demo, so we didn't have it very long with it, but it was fun.
I'm gonna go ahead.
It was kind of like a Little Big Planet-esque, but a little bit of puzzle game to it.
I saw a commercial on it. It looked like a party game.
Yeah,
just like 1-2 Switch. Let me pull up something here. Nintendo Switch launch titles. And it looks like it's from IGN here. Let's see if I can get a... Yeah, 1-2 Switch. Just Dance 2017. The Legend of Zelda...
that's a system seller.
That's actually a very popular game, though, and I think
it's everywhere.
And I think I know why it's popular. I was always wondering why the fuck it's so popular. Because you can use your phone. You don't need like a motion controller or anything like that. Skylanders, Imaginators. So that's Skylander shit. That's like for kids. Super Bomberman R. I Am Setsuna. That's digital download, and then Snipper Clips, which is digital. Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove, Shovel Knight's Vector of Torment, and Fast RMX. Those might not be out yet.
But Shovel Knight and I Am Setsuna are just ports from existing indie titles.
Right.
They're on like PS4 and PC, and probably Xbox as well.
Right, and you know, that's the thing with the Nintendo Switch is like last system they dropped the ball with third-party support, which was like the biggest thing for the Wii U. But they were actually talking... The Wii U was actually really hyped up to be like a really strong third-party support contender. But it never really turned out to be that way.
It lasted for about a year, maybe.
That's for about a year, and it's just kind of, I think it's just like the hardware, like to make it was just the difficulty of it. But Nintendo Switch is trying to right that wrong. I believe it's still weaker than, it's stronger than the regular PS4 and Xbox One. But I believe, I don't know, the PS4 Pro might be stronger. Scorpio
I'm not even sure it is
out
as strong.
You don't think so? I don't know.
Probably roughly comparable, though.
I'm just going to say I don't know. But yeah, they're kind of on the same level. We'll just say they're kind of on the same level. So that's going to attract third-party developers. Hopefully they can... They like the idea of like a portable ass system like that can replace the GBA or the Game Boy, the 3DS.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they actually release a new 3DS during this generation, or if they basically combined their console business and their handheld business into one platform, which is really interesting. I think they should just go for the combining it all into one platform because, like, to be honest, that's what it's kind of trying to be actually. Like, yeah. Like if you look at the Super Bowl ad that happened, they really kind of showcase like what you could do with it, and it's just like it's just perfect, you know. Like you can take it to bed if you want to. You could put it into the little the dock if you want to play the game on the thing. So very versatile system. There had always been speculation that Nintendo would drop out of the console game, so I think this is a good compromise between doing that versus basically competing with PS4 and while sticking to what they're good at, the handheld systems. Right. So that was the point. Should they or should they not? I mean, the 3DS is definitely selling really well, so they know they have like a proper handheld market already. Yeah. So that was like the whole idea. Like, let's just all combine it into one. It's going to save us money on cost. If we just make one system and you know make it handheld and for the home, boom, we got ourselves like we're saving tons of money. We don't have to have two separate entities here. Yep. To sell. And the software would be compatible with both markets, really, rather than having to segregate your Wii and your 3DS software. Mm-hmm. So, on the other hand, you know, third-party support. I could see that going a lot longer or a lot further than the Wii U, just because like it's on par with the current generation for the most part. So like I kind of feel like it's a missed opportunity that it doesn't exceed the current generation, but Nintendo's never really been about specs. No, it's never been about specs. It's just been more about meeting the standard at least, and then taking the standard, and just gameplay wise, like obviously like the controllers, like the Wii controller, like motion controls and stuff like that. Like they started that whole craze thing. Like I'm sure there was things before that, but they've always just been a pioneer of that. Like let's always do something different. Let's do what they're not doing. Right. Which, and if you look at it, the history of it,
PlayStation's copied them in a quote unquote copied, like with the wands, the PlayStation wands, like
the PlayStation Move,
the PlayStation Move, Xbox Kinect,
which didn't quite have the longevity. Like just because it came out so late, I think that it really was kind of a fad, really.
And I think that's why Nintendo succeeded so well at it.
It was just the first one there.
It was the first one there, and so like. Basically, yeah, everybody just got onto it, played that Wii Tennis and that Wii Bowling, and it was just like this huge thing. Nobody's ever seen this before yet.
Yep.
And then like PlayStation's like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna jump on that shit, and they did. And then Xbox was like, I actually never even held a PlayStation wand or Move controller.
We might want to stream a little Dead Space Extraction.
Holy shit, you have one.
Sure do.
And I have Dead Space Extraction on PS3 though.
Yeah. It's fun.
Nice, dude. Mediocre Dude and I are going to do some streaming as well coming up, too. Because we just started this whole streaming thing. So it's going to be really fun stuff. Yeah, so like basically back to the point, third-party support, I feel that it could actually do well with this. Because, in my personal opinion, games get to a certain point where it's like the graphics are too good. Like, you know, like where do you go from there? Virtual reality, right? Which PlayStation's already doing.
I feel like I said maybe 5 or 10 years ago, this is good enough. I'm okay with these graphics. I'm not.
And now
I'm still such a snob for graphics. I fucking love like the crazy graphics that they have now. Like Uncharted 4 is beautiful.
Right.
And I'm all about that now. Like, even though I said that I was satisfied years ago, I'm not. I'm always looking to the next thing.
So basically, yeah. So you have a different viewpoint. I'm saying that like Nintendo reached a point where its general audience is satisfied with the graphics. So that's why it doesn't need to be ultra powerful.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing, and you probably agree with this on this. Was it 32 gigabyte hard drive? Fuck that. What the hell? What are you thinking?
That's
Nintendo?
a single game, basically.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's a single game.
Right.
Can you... Now, it has like an SD card slot, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that could cover it.
But you gotta buy more, though. Like, it's... Do you think it's because, like... I mean, Nintendo cut a lot of corners, I believe, in order to drop this price down. I think that...
Probably.
I think that was one of them. And I believe the... Not being able to output in like 1080. I don't think it can output in 1080p.
Yeah, it can.
It can?
Yeah.
Okay. So like
the tablet is 720 and then when you're on TV mode it's 1080.
TV mode is 1080. Okay. Yeah, I mean
it looks good. It really does.
It does look really good. And to the point, yeah, I mean like I don't know, I'm satisfied. I don't...
Now, mind you...
Like especially for Nintendo... Oh, go ahead.
The vast majority of the games that I play are card games, which do not have spectacular graphics. So I definitely get it where graphics don't matter that much in terms of the experience that you can have. But I still really love those pretty games, too.
Right, but a lot of your card games are pretty because it doesn't take much space to use it. A lot of it looks like it's rendered shit.
Right.
That's just animated, for the most part, which doesn't... I believe does... I'm not an expert at this stuff, but in my opinion, I would think that it costs less... hard drive space or memory.
Oh yeah, I mean they're meant to be run on mobile and they're like 2 gigabytes compared to PS4 games that are 30-40 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm. So, but the hard drive space, that's definitely a system like not killer, but
you just need to get a.
It's not a system seller. We'll just say that.
We just need to add the cost of the SD card, and I have one for my phone. Like, if you happen to have one, it's not really a...
That's what I was just going to say, that I believe that, like, if you already have an existing SD card or whatever in your pocket or whatnot, it'll work for it. Let's talk about this. The game size itself. It's kind of like an SD card, actually.
The size of the cartridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Cartridges never really bothered me. They don't make any difference. Although Tim did break that Super Mario Sunshine on launch day. We were trying to take it out, and he just cracked it in half.
Really?
On launch day.
Oh, man. Was I there for that?
Nah.
No. God damn it, Tim. You really fucked up that day.
Maybe we should get him on here one time.
We should. We're trying to get our buddy Tim on here. We don't have an alias for him.
It'd be like Tim Dude.
He's not Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Nope.
I'll give you that one.
Though incidentally, we watched some Home Improvement today. That was a good show.
We sure didn't.
I did.
Oh, you
didn't?
did? You actually did?
I sure did.
Oh my god. That's so funny. Tim, if you're listening to this, come on the show. Come on the podcast. We need you. We're faltering.
We're lost without you, Timothy.
The
only person who actually owns a Switch.
We need your We need you to lick the Nintendo Switch SD card. Because did you hear about that?
Oh no. Yeah, I heard it tasted really bad.
Yeah, it tastes really bad. I don't own a Switch. I want to own a Switch. We started this podcast with me saying I'd rather go with the Wii U because Breath of the Wild's on it. But I do want a Switch.
No, they're the same price. You might as well get a Switch.
They're the same exact price.
Yeah.
So I might as well get a Switch. But the Wii U already has like a bunch of established games on it and shit. And I don't think it costs money to go on the internet.
I don't know. Like Splatoon, you want to play that? There is Splatoon 2 coming to the Switch, I believe.
I don't care for Splatoon.
So I guess you're missing. Wasn't there a Mario Galaxy on Wii U? Or something?
There's Mario 3D World.
Oh yeah.
On the Wii U. Mario.
Well, they had some 2D titles, didn't they?
For Mario, yeah, like this new Super Mario Bros. U.
Yeah.
Yep, it sure did. But the Switch is going to have a new Mario game called Mario Odyssey.
And that looks amazing.
It looks really good. When I first saw it, I saw the E3 thing, and he jumps out of the sewer. And the first thing I thought to myself was like, good timing, Mario. Because if you fucking did that like 5 seconds earlier, you would have been hit by a car. And there would be no game.
Short game, Mario.
Yeah,
Short game.
So
go and see Dr. Mario.
So good instincts, Mario. That you knew to jump 5 seconds later than when you really wanted to.
Yep. I just want them to put Bayonetta 2 on Switch. They'll be like, that motherfucking game better not sell me a Wii U.
Didn't they put that on Wii U?
Yeah, but I don't want a Wii U.
Right.
Just to play Bayonetta 2.
And that goes like to a whole other topic of just re-putting games on like new systems constantly. It's just like
it looks tiring for the people
it's just regurgitating like content.
Right, but it looks tiring for the people who haven't or have already played them. They're like, why would I buy this again? Why are you trying to sell me this again? It looks like a ripoff. But it's great for people who haven't played those games yet. Exactly. And they're usually even discounted. They have all their DLC. Sometimes they're 2 or 3 games in one.
Yeah, and we definitely
they're really good deals.
And we definitely talked about this in the past podcast.
Oh yeah, we have. Let's not do that again.
Right, we'll reference it, but yeah. For sure. Like, go check out that podcast. We talk about like DLC and the monetization and kind of deal.
Yep.
So, but yeah. With that said, like any system that comes out, right? Like let's say the Nintendo Switch, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of games on launch, these things are like computers now, to where like you can just take all these old school games that were on past systems and put them on, and then now you have more use for the system.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're just upgrades now. It feels.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like complete hardware replacements.
Yeah, because like the service really is the network. PlayStation Network, Nintendo Network.
Right, and then I heard that the Nintendo is going to start charging for online services. Like they're just joining the bandwagon for that, for the most part.
That's all right, I guess.
I heard it was going to be expensive, but this actually may have changed. I don't know. So I'm not going to. I heard $30 a month, but that sounded way too much.
$30 a month?
Yeah, I may have misheard.
Maybe it's a year.
Don't quote me on that. I don't think that's right, but my brain. It tells me that that's what I heard.
Your brain is dumb, Eric.
Some point, like on E3 or something like that. Shut up! Your brain is dumb.
No.
Your brain is like a stain.
No, you.
On my brain.
A stain on your brain? I'm a tumor?
Your cortex, your neocortex is my...
That's not even a thing. Why are you making shit up?
My medulla oblongata.
I don't even know what that means.
So I want to switch. Basically, like, okay, so we were talking about like I was saying how I feel like it's more of like an upgrade now, but I feel like Nintendo isn't just an upgrade. Like they actually really do rehash their hardware. Like if you go from PS3 to PS4, what is that? That's just like an upgrade.
Yeah.
Or Xbox 360 to Xbox One. That's just an upgrade. The Wii from the Nintendo Wii to the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch, it's not just an upgrade. You're redesigning the hardware. Like there was no screen to hold for the Wii. It was the motion controller. The Wii U kept that going, but then it added.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch is like, okay, we're going to keep that screen that you can play, like the Wii U, but we're going to add to that. What do we add? We can make the damn thing like a Lego set.
And I think the main difference was that the console on the Wii U was the TV set and the setup for the TV. And then the tablets were just transmitting that. But now with the Switch, the tablet is the console. When you plug it into the TV,
right,
it's just like changing where the power is coming from, and that has considerable implications for when you were taking it outside, because it's a fully functioning tablet, basically.
And right you are on that. And I've even seen like videos on YouTube of like tests of how durable it is too, and it's pretty durable, it seems. Like dropping it from like 5 feet, like the guy had to do it like 5 times before any real damage started to happen.
I did hear, however, that running it over with a car does damage it.
I would imagine. I ran over a guitar, like
that'll learn it,
in college, my own guitar, and that fucking put it out of tune for good.
Out of tune.
But is it the manufacturer's fault? Fuck yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm sure that bitch was on warranty.
But yeah, you're right. It evolved.
Yeah.
It evolved from like from the Wii U, like you said, like, hey, you can play this portable, to hey, it is now the system. The portability of it is the system.
Yep.
And like they just sell it so hard on like being able to take it out. I think it's cool. I'm a Switch supporter. I would own that damn thing if I had the money to buy it.
So donate, please.
Please, yes.
To Sjotyme's Nintendo Switch Fund.
There may or may not be a donation button now. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I think like once you get to 1,000 subscribers, you enable Super Chat.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is you can start receiving donations. So can live stream. Shout out to Pharaoh TV. He's today. He's actually I went to his live stream, and he's raising money for a PS4 Pro.
Nice.
With the donations. I think that's a very fair thing to do. I thought about it, maybe perhaps raise donations for Nintendo Switch to support the channel. Because that would definitely be something that to use on the channel.
I need to raise money for Hearthstone packs.
We're not there yet. We're actually going to be making a video about Hearthstone soon. I've been playing that. Mediocre dude has been showing me the ropes over the past year.
No idea if anyone watching plays Hearthstone, but
right.
We'll
so
see.
We don't know. Let us know in the comments. If you guys play Hearthstone. High five.
Yeah,
We did it. We plugged Hearthstone. Back to topic. Do you think that Hearthstone will ever be on the Nintendo Switch?
actually, there's an article saying that it's a possibility.
Really?
Yep.
That'd be great.
Hearthstone hasn't made a console release just yet, but I think considering that the Switch is borderline mobile, it makes more sense.
You can even go to play basketball after playing basketball on the Switch.
Right?
It's a possibility. It's a thing.
Yo, dog, I heard you like playing basketball.
Yo, dog, yeah. Yo, pooch. You done playing your game yet? Because I want to challenge you in some one-on-one Charles Broccoli and Jam. Or Shut Up and Jam on my Wii Switch.
Oh, I'm glad that wasn't the title.
That'd be so funny calling it the Wii Switch.
I mean, that'd be almost as bad as the Wii U.
Might as well.
I'm glad they didn't do that.
It is an evolution of the Wii.
Wii squared.
Oh, Wii cubed. Wii quadruped.
There you go.
Quintillion Wii's.
Okay, you're losing it.
I'm losing it. Yeah, where were we? Okay, so I want to switch. What about you? Are you gonna get a Switch down the road?
Eventually, probably. I haven't had a Nintendo system in a while, since the GameCube. And I feel like the way that Nintendo has differentiated itself has... Obviously, it's essential for like Nintendo fans, but like I think that it's separated itself from gaming culture as a whole.
Right. They definitely did. But I think they're trying to correct that with the Switch with the third-party support, because that's what it all comes down to, third-party support. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard that they might be putting Dark Souls 3 on there. If it can run that kind of game, then there'll be a lot of people happy with that.
Right.
Especially with the fact that like you can make a game much longer than usual based on that, like with DLC, which we talked about in the past podcast. But like you can keep that game fucking going.
Oh yeah.
So like the idea of having like an older game like Skyrim even maybe, which they advertised that it could be on there. But I've heard
hasn't that been announced? It's
coming. I'm not sure. Has it been
coming.
announced? Is it really coming? I heard that there was like controversy, like they use it in an ad, and then like one of the
they might have implied it was a launch title, and that might have been what the controversy was
maybe
about.
that's what the controversy was. But yeah.
And I think that that's a perfectly fine way to release a game on a new platform. For example, Rise of the Tomb Raider had that exclusivity deal with Xbox, but it came out a year later on PS4 at full price with all the DLC. And that's just fine.
That's just fine. Xbox people are paying more money out of pocket in the long run. Mm-hmm. But you get to experience that game when it comes out. The community is there. You're building the community. You're there with the community. That's the benefit of doing it.
Right.
But yeah. So how does that relate to the Switch, though?
Oh, we were talking about like Skyrim, an older game hitting the Switch.
Okay,
or
gotcha.
Dark Souls, which is still producing
Gotcha.
content.
Gotcha.
I believe it had an expansion just this month, or last month rather, for
Gotcha.
March.
Right, absolutely.
So as long as that's still producing content, it's going to have its Game of the Year edition, and if that hits Nintendo Switch, it's perfect timing.
And it better be the Game of the Year edition, or else it's going to be harder to sell it.
Right.
And that's like going back to our past podcasts to talk about that, like how it's just a way to keep it at $60 and why DLC shouldn't even cost money anyways. But anyway, that's off topic.
History repeating itself.
I'll bring this up now just because it's on my mind now. Like the system itself, it's pretty cool. Like like being able to just like I've seen a lot of videos, like unboxing videos and like videos of where people are showing it off and like how it clicks, the sound of it clicking. Mm-hmm. The actual Joy-Cons themselves are really small, but it's just like a cool concept how you can just like click it on. You can also take it off and play it like the classic Wii, where you would have the two remotes connected together, and you can.
They're really small though.
You can kind of just lay back and play Wii like this,
like a god.
I'm playing like a god.
You're playing it like Buddha.
I'm playing it like Buddha, like You could do that with Nintendo Switch, with the Joy-Cons. They're remote. There's no wire connected, but you could still do that same concept, and that's cool. But yeah, like I said, like I heard they are very small from right here. They're light. Mm-hmm. I think they're more designed for kids, in my opinion, because as the alternative they have the Wii or the Switch.
Right, they have like a Pro controller.
I just want to call it the Wii Switch, man. I just want to call it the Wii Switch. Yeah, they have the Pro controller, the Switch Pro controller, as an alternative.
That's what I think of that.
Bless you. Yeah, it's like it's just the alternative to it. If you don't like the baby, I've never held an actual like Switch. I've never touched a Switch. I've never seen one in person. This is all speculation.
We are clearly not qualified to do this podcast.
This is an opinion piece. Yeah, we're not qualified. Fuck off, Baddest Cast.
We are truly the Baddest Cast.
We're so bad. We haven't popped our Switch cherry yet. But I want a Switch.
But it wouldn't be the internet without people sharing their opinion when they have no basis for it.
Yeah. The thing is small as fuck. I've heard people say that it's like they feel like they're gonna break it. They don't like it. It's just like it feels cheap. Like the hardware itself, aside from maybe like the screen itself, like the actual hardware itself, like the accessory parts, like the Joy-Cons and then the docking station. I've heard that those feel cheap. I watched an Angry Joe review on it, where he said that.
Was he angry?
Dramatic pause. No, I don't think so. Wow. Really, well, he wasn't in a state of anger. he was in a state of like frustration. Like, what? Why is this way? It feels cheap. It shouldn't feel like cheap, right? So, and I know Meat Shield. Shout out Meat Shield out there. If you're listening to this, I know that you follow Angry Joe. I think he's legit. Some of his opinions are controversial, but overall, I think he's legit. He seems like a knowledgeable guy, and all that stuff. But yeah, like the hardware itself, it seems fun, convenient. The whole portable aspect of it, though, it's like, how can you really do that? It's not as small as the 3DS, right? Like I've felt that before. Like,
right.
Like let's say you do want to just take it out on a bus. It's very conspicuous. So yeah, to you, you're like, I don't
Does
know.
it look different
I
from
don't
a
give a
tablet?
shit.
Really?
It really doesn't, I guess.
Not that much.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
But
But you need the Joy-Cons to play it.
not necessarily.
Or maybe the Wii Pro controller to play it too, remotely. That part I'm not entirely sure on. But like, I know it has like a stand, right? And you can put it down on the table, you can kick it back, and then like, you can hold you can hold the whole thing while you play it.
Pretty sure it has buttons.
With the Joy-Cons, with the actual docking for the Joy-Cons, like that controller, the default controller, we'll call it. So I'm sure you could probably do it with the Wii U, the Wii Switch Pro controller. I want to keep saying Wii.
The Wii Switch Cube.
The Wii Switch Cube.
64.
64. The Wii Switch Cube 64. It's the name of this podcast. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
But it's really, thanks for asking. But it's very cool that it is portable. But like, I'm just thinking like, how could you take it out and be like, hide it from the world while you're out there?
No, you gotta be a grown ass man playing on a Wii Switch on a sub.
Right. What I'm saying is that like, I think I'm speculating. I'm gonna have to take you out to the pasture.
Yeah, it's about time.
What I'm speculating is that at some point, you know how like mobile phones have like games where like you can actually press the buttons on screen.
Yeah.
I think they'll adopt that over time, because maybe like when you're out and about on the portable system, you don't want to have your Joy-Cons with you because you can lose those or break them.
Right.
So there'll probably be an update to the system, if this already doesn't exist, where it has the buttons on the screen. You could just take it as a tablet, because going off of what you're saying, it looks like a tablet. Mm-hmm. So if it looks like a duck, smells like a duck, it is a duck. So people won't question it being a Nintendo system. Because some people like myself, I don't want to be out in public, be like... And I might get some flack for this in the comments section, but I don't want to be out, as a grown man, holding like a video game console.
You know what was
because I'm going to get judged, and I just personally feel uncomfortable in those situations. I know there's people that don't, and you're totally rad if you're cool with that, but that's just me.
Well, you know what was like the biggest gaming phenomenon of 2016? Pokemon Go.
That's true. I guess we are evolving as a species. We are. Yeah, what am I saying? I do a YouTube channel about video games. So, I mean, but you get what I'm saying.
Gaming on the go is pretty commonly understood.
Yeah, I think we've reached that point. Because our generation is finally growing up. I'm in my 30s now. There's plenty of other gamers out there in their 30s. I look at our stats. Majority of our audience is like in the range of 25 to 35.
Mm-hmm. I think if you looked at the statistics of everyone gaming, the majority of them are in their 30s. It's just like the people who grew up with it are still doing it.
Majority of them, yeah. And it's just like because of what we had, it was different. The Wii Switch! Right? So without going off too much topic, like what we had was basically the start of it all, in a sense of modern gaming. I know Atari and all that started everything. But what we see today was a product of our generation evolving, from previous generations. So, without getting too confusing. But anyways, there's a lot of different... What I'm trying to get at is basically the newer generation now, the younger crowd, have gaming completely different than we grew up with. So let's say that there's a lot of mobile gaming games like Just Dance 2017. Like, we didn't have that shit growing up. Like, we had Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah.
Which was popular. But there's just, like, different modes. And now they have VR. Like, it's just not like brick and mortar. You go to your store and buy a disc.
Right.
You know,
I'm not sure the kids are going to be growing up on... Well, at least today's kids are growing up on VR exactly, just because the cost is a little prohibitive right now.
Right.
But, another 5 years, maybe.
Does the point that I'm trying to make sense?
It never does.
Because I don't think I quite hit the point.
The industry is continuing to grow.
The industry... Basically, the industry has changed, right?
And it's changed the people that it touches.
So people are coming up now playing with the changed industry than we did.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's what I'm trying to answer as to why the majority of our audience is 25-35. Is it because they relate to us mostly because that's our age? Or is it because gaming has changed? Because here's a perfect example to my point. Minecraft. That's what the younger kids are doing. Minecraft type stuff, right?
Yeah, it always looked like shit to me.
And Doctor's Gaming, if you're listening to this, I know you play Minecraft and you like it. It's just not our cup of tea. It's what the younger generation is doing, is those style games, not like the in-depth, like triple A titles. Do you see what I'm getting at? Like maybe even Facebook games, Candy Crush, mobile games. So maybe it's the age 25 to 35 market that's into what we're into because we grew up with that shit. That's my point. Make sense?
Yes.
Mediocre dude says yes.
Just so you don't.
We are in unison. YouTube, leave in the comments below. What do you think? Thanks for typing. So yeah, cheap hardware, docking station, Joy-Cons. From what I hear, like you could break it. The Wii Switch Pro controller. I'm just gonna give into it. The Wii Switch Pro controller is like the savior. Like if you want to play real games.
Yeah.
I've seen footage of 1-2 Switch, which is pretty cool, actually. Milking cows. Yeah.
I've always wanted to milk cows on a game.
So did I. And now the Wii Switch has it. And it's like, fuck. I don't have one.
I need to. I need to milk some cows.
I can't get this shit on the Wii U. I need to milk cows, motherfucker.
I feel like Sony and Microsoft are discriminating against us for not offering us like a cow milking game.
Right. They have the Move. They have the Kinect.
They have the Move.
They have the technology to do it, but they just won't.
I want to milk a cow on my Move.
But the Wii Switch. I'm not even kidding. My brain just calls it the Wii Switch. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
It's like others.
It is. He's holding his what is that thing called?
PlayStation Move controller,
which is like a light gun, almost. But I mean, they like like the Joy-Con. Like I saw the E3. Like it's supposed to simulate like a glass of water with ice in it, or something like that. Like it feels that way. Like the gravity of it, the physics of it. Like for the motion controller. So yeah, games for it and like its uses. Like what we gotta start talking about games. Like that's the next thing, right? So it's like, what kind of like. From what we see already, like the 1-2 Switch, we already started talking about it, but yeah, I mean, like that's the game that's like the tech demo of like, hey, look, this is what the Wii Switch can do. See how naturally it just comes out the Wii Switch. So what the Wii Switch can do, you have the gun game, where it's like, it'll be like, 1, 2, 3, fire, or shoot. It's like fire. I can tell that you haven't seen this.
Not at all.
Just the look in your face is just like you're like a deer in headlights. Basically, like the game is like one person holds the controller. This is 1-2 Switch we're talking about, the dual shooting part of the game. You're holding a controller. Mediocre dude, MD, certified doctor of the Wii Switch, is holding the other Joy-Con, and it's like they'll be like,
So you can play rock, paper, scissors.
It'll be like, ready, set, like kind of like that, and then it'll say like fire, and when it says fire, I think you move it or something like that. Whoever moves it first like wins the duel, and then but they also trick you too, like they'll say like things that sound like fire, like tire, and if you do it, I'm not even joking, and if you do it and you mess up, let's say that you basically like you bring it down, right? When it says tire, you lose because it's supposed to trick you, and you have to really have selective hearing. So that's basically kind of like how the 1-2 switch is. Pretty cool. So the other game that came out for the Nintendo Switch, I call it Nintendo Switch this time.
Good job.
Not the Wii Switch.
Making progress.
Nintendo Wii Switch was Bomberman. Which I heard is just basically like traditional Bomberman. It actually came out at the price point of like $50 at the retail store. I heard it was way overpriced.
I'm never very concerned with prices when games come out. I don't really evaluate games as being appropriately priced or not. But
really,
I have played Bomberman a lot.
Okay, I played a lot of Nintendo 64 Bomberman.
I've never played that one.
It's really fun.
We played it on the Virtual Console, just various Super Nintendo ones and things like that.
Yeah.
So being similar to that, it's a good thing. Worth $50? No idea. I don't care. Incidentally, I don't spend $50 on many games. That's just because I have so many and don't really.
I watched a bigger YouTuber play it that goes by the name Pro Jared.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of him?
Nope.
He plays a lot of Nintendo style games. He's playing the Nintendo Switch. He's playing Bomberman on it. I watched him play it, and yeah, it looks like they're having a blast, like 4 players at least. So like, but is it worth $50? Like the prices of games, like don't you think that maybe like some games should be cheaper? Like if you look at VR games, are set at like $20. That's pretty good.
I don't know. Like I've gone to the movie theater and spent $35. I was in there for 2.5 hours. I got to munch on some delicious popcorn, but otherwise it's a similar experience to playing a video game for a few hours.
Okay. What about the actual how you play the game? Like think of it in terms of that. Like what does it bring to the Nintendo Switch that's different? Like how do you use the Joy-Con controls? Does it incorporate anything in there? Or is it just like old school game? Maybe that could be why it feels like it's too expensive.
I don't know what things that you.
Well, you don't. You don't.
I don't know that it needs to use anything.
Right.
In fact, I think that a lot of these components seem superfluous to a lot of people. A lot of people don't want their games to change too much.
Right. So it's kind of like almost as if like you. Even Zelda Breath of the Wild is kind of that way too. It doesn't seem like there's anything that you really need, like as far as motion controls.
Nope.
So it's like
no! Actually, there was a puzzle that involved tilt.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like to get through to like the piece of heart or whatever, you had to drop a ball like through a thingy, and there was like a maze, and you had to like tilt the thingy to get around.
Okay.
And then this is not going to work well in audio, but whatever.
Right, no, of course not. But we might as well just go on to the Breath of the Wild then. As far as I'm concerned, this is.
Oh, you baited me.
Yeah, this is definitely a hot topic. For the Switch. Obviously, we started this off saying that the Wii U offers it, and I actually heard that that's actually a kind of an item that's becoming harder to find is the Wii U version of it. I was thinking about just taking the route of buying the Wii U and getting the Zelda on the Wii U. But now that you mentioned the price has dropped, it's even at risk of going up. It's like, well, I might as well just get the Switch. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is great. I watched a lot of YouTubers live stream it, play it. I really want to get my hands on it. The graphical differences between the Wii U and the Switch version are like very minimal.
And it's a really pretty looking game. It really is.
It's a very pretty looking game, super open world. I've heard people complain that it's too barren. Like there's not really much going on in it, but those could just be people that are used to those type of games. I don't know. Who knows? It's an opinion, right? But I can kind of see what you're saying. it is super open world, and in that aspect, you're not going to get too much actual like interactive content. It's a lot of exploring.
Right.
Like some people like go as far as saying like it's the game of you just hold forward the whole time, for the most part, which could be a turn off for a lot of people if you think about it. So they want more juice, more action.
But that's a niche that's Skyrim and Assassin's Creed has always filled. There's definitely an audience for it. So I think Zelda opening its world even more to that audience and that degree of detail is appreciated as well, so by some people.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually I appreciate that actually. It's one of the reasons I want to get my hand on the game is because I like to just lose myself and explore. And that's like what Zelda's been basically built on. I remember like the Ocarina of Time days, actually, like playing that. Just wandering the fields of Hyrule for the first time, wishing that it would be huge, like way bigger than what it is, or was. And lo and behold, it totally is in Breath of the Wild. So I like it. I think it's great. The Return of the Old Man is in that game. Like from the old school Zelda. Like the very first one, Old Man.
Really?
Who gives you the sword? He's in it.
Oh, yeah.
He gives you the hang glider, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I've seen, the majority of the game is just like, it's very hard, I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard it's more challenging than traditional ones, and that's a good thing, I think.
It's good.
I mean, the previous ones have had some challenging puzzles in its temples, but other than that, it hasn't been too challenging.
And in this one, speaking of temples, it looks all puzzle-based. Like, there's no enemies in the temples. Like, they're now shrines.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think aren't these shrines, like, when you beat it, it's like a place to teleport to?
Some of them.
I think that's kind of what it is, like, what their main incentive to complete them is.
The main one would be to get pieces of heart and stamina boosts.
So they do have pieces of heart in that game still?
Yeah.
Okay. I know that they got rid of the hearts altogether. Mm-hmm. Not the heart pieces, but like the heart for health, because like everything is based off of eating now.
Well, you still have health.
No, you have health, but you don't collect like hearts anymore for health.
Oh yeah,
which is like one
of
the main reasons to its difficulty, which adds to that. Like just normal book goblins can kick your ass, like for the most part, and like you see, it's like Dark Souls almost. It's like a Dark Souls Zelda, I think, in my opinion, and that's probably been thrown around a lot, actually.
There are definitely some enemies that could really kick your ass if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like the regular Moblin enemies, they're like huge. They're really big and tall. They just like swing shit at you. There's like Cyclops type enemies too. I've seen super big. Fucking swings like a tree trunk at you. Pretty insane. Really fun looking though, you know. It's very Skyrim-ish mixed with Dark Souls, I would say. And then obviously Zelda.
Oh really?
That's that's what I would say. If you were to ask me what kind of game this is, it
looks like a Zelda game.
With disclaimer, without playing it, just watching it, it's a combination of Skyrim, The Legend of Zelda, and Dark Souls. It's those three things, in my opinion. And to me, that's all right. You know, I'm not the hugest fan of Skyrim, but I do like it. I own it. I've played it. And it's good stuff.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of people enjoy games not being quite so linear, being able to run around and do whatever you want, including climb trees, as Miyamoto himself apparently did with an early build of the game. Yeah, there was a story where Miyamoto was presented with an early build of Breath of the Wild, and he spent like an hour just climbing up trees.
But of course, you know, I'm saying I like it. Obviously, with everything like Nintendo Switch has to offer, the games they have is cool. I think the 1-2 Switch is a good idea. Basically for like what they're doing. It's a tech demo, but it looks like it could be fun with friends. There's the other one, like the Splinter one, what was that stupid thing called?
Snipper Clippers?
Snipper Clippers. I haven't really seen much of that. I just saw a commercial, so I don't really have an opinion on that. Zelda is the system seller if you want it, but you can also get it on the Wii U. So if you already own a Wii U, there's no point to get the Switch yet, because Mario's not coming out until
December.
So you're stuck with at least Zelda for a AAA title until then. I don't know if they're coming out with anything else who knows what they're doing with Super Metroid. The internet is going to be introduced soon. I don't know when the date is. But basically be able to play like downloadable games. Like I believe Shovel Knight's going to be downloadable. So it'll just be like the Wii U at launch, basically, is what it feels like. Not a whole lot going on. Some good games. You're just going to have to wait for the good stuff.
There haven't been a lot of good launches, honestly.
No, you're absolutely right with that.
Like, Super Mario 64 was more than enough for the Nintendo 64 launch.
And I think what it is like, I think I'm conditioned now. Like, I speak for everyone I'm about to say. Like, people are conditioned, and I speak for myself at that, is that, like, we expect the sun and the moon now.
Yeah.
At launch. I'm guilty of that.
But has it ever happened, really?
Not really. No, it's a continuing trend. Like, but that's true. I've never been the person, though, because I can never get the sun and the moon at launch. So I've never been the person to adopt a system at launch. I can't remember the last time I bought something at launch. PS3 got it like a year after. PS4 got it like a year after.
Right.
Just about everything they got like at least a year after. Because at the beginning, first year, it always sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the money to play it and stuff, like, you're going to get Zelda, like, on the Switch. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's really great that they got that done already, and it sells systems apparently, so good on them. I don't think that it's wrong that they launched it with so few titles. As long as they have the one killer app, they're good. They're golden.
Right. So I think, that the Nintendo Switch is going to be a successful system.
I think it's already a successful system.
Yeah, I mean, it already is a successful system, but I mean, like, down the road. Because who knows? Like, a Nintendo system comes out, everybody's hyped about it, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's not as advertised as the Wii U was, still people that did know about it, it's Nintendo, yeah. It didn't reach the audience of, like, mothers and uncles that don't play video games.
Yeah, and
so to speak.
As I said, that Nintendo's kind of distanced itself from the game industry as we know it by not having the third-party support that's, I think, really is needed to stay relevant generally.
Which is going to be the key in this system race right now.
Right.
For Nintendo to even compete, I think.
But they've always had such stellar first-party games.
That is their saving gift. Yes, absolutely. People are
just like every single game they release is gold.
Right. Totally. Very, very strong backing, and like people argue that if Nintendo ever did leave the console market, they would be like Sega and be able to just be a software company, and which is totally viable for them. But could you imagine like Legend of Zelda on PS4? Like,
that would be weird.
That's just crazy. That's just crazy to think about. It's crazy as swallowing one of those Switch cartridges.
Swallowing?
We joked about like the size of them and how they taste really nasty on the sticker, but like, I think we briefly touched on what I want to talk about. Is like the fact of the matter that it's an SD card, it's not a disc. Or they didn't even go as far as just download only. Like they could have taken that direction.
Right.
I'm about to answer my own question. I think they did that to save space. Like
physical space on the console?
Right, because if you let's say you download a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild, I don't know the size of it, but if it comes 32 gigabytes, if you have to download Zelda, that's already taken a huge chunk out, right?
Right.
Assuming. So if you put it on a cartridge, then the cost of putting that into the system is actually being transferred to the game, purchasing the game itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And like 32 gigabytes might sound absurd for a game console, but it's pretty standard for like a phone or a tablet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just the way things are headed, or have been heading, and Nintendo just seems they adopt like new and old stuff, which is kind of weird to think that like SD cards are now considered like old stuff.
Well, it depends. I mean, like 32 gigabyte SD cards are old, but we're getting like probably 512 gigabyte SD cards soon.
Yeah, I mean, and where I work, the electronics retailer that I work at has you know, 128 gigabyte SD cards and that kind of thing. They're expensive though. They certainly are.
On an Amazon sale, I picked up a 256 gigabyte for like $80.
256 gigabyte.
Yep.
That was on Amazon. Amazon's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty
But they exist.
Pretty generous with the price.
They exist. I have no need for that much, but I got it anyway.
Yeah, but I just feel like I'm gonna fucking lose that thing.
It's my phone. If I lose my phone, I mean that sucks. But
I mean, like,
it sucked anyway.
Like the game, you know, it's just, I don't know, and like the size of the case compared to the actual thing.
Yeah.
It's funny at first. Like I laughed at it at first, but then like the more I think about it, it's like, well, it's because it's easy to lose since it's so small. So if you have like this bigger case, you're not gonna have a hard time or an easy time losing it. Like imagine if it was just like. And then the artwork too wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be able to read the back of the box because it would be like on this little thing, like really small size.
I've been a big proponent of basically being 100% digital, but I've been reminded several times that it's not quite plausible in other regions where internet might not be as stable or stable enough to download a 40 gigabyte file basically ever. So that's probably the main reason that physical copies aren't discontinued completely.
Cost? Is what you're saying?
The availability of Ethernet.
Oh, okay. So the cost of Ethernet.
The availability. Beat you up.
You heard it here, folks. Mediocre Dude is going to beat me up live on the podcast.
No, we're
joking.
We're saving it for the live stream.
Ah! Oh!
I Tarzan.
We're saving it for. I hurt myself. We're saving it for the live stream. Yes. Another reminder: we're doing live streams now. Go watch them. Go watch them. So, anything that you want to bring up on the Nintendo Switch at all? We haven't talked about thoughts, feelings, future of the Switch, possible games, maybe. You're live.
No, I'm not.
I'm David Letterman. You better say something.
David Letterman ain't even on
Or
anymore.
you're going to get booed off stage.
Bring it.
And Sjotyme is going to go on, and they're going to cheer. So how do you feel that, as far as, like, the system costing $300, so how do you feel about that?
I'm thinking that's about as low as home consoles go these days.
It's a fair assumption.
And tablets, like unless you're going to pretty low-end tablet, like a Fire tablet, Amazon Fire tablet, which is a pretty good deal, I'm sure. But $300 is kind of a reasonable price point for a tablet.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you.
So I don't have any qualms with the price point. It's competitive for sure.
Like the regular PS4 is $300, I believe.
Right.
And so is the Xbox One. Like the PS4 Pro is $400. So it's definitely, as far as price-wise goes, it's very competitive. And that's possibly another reason why it's cheaper in general, just because like the controls feel a little cheap too, from what I hear. And like the docking station, because save money. So that's like kind of like their way of competing. It's like, look, we know that we're not as powerful as PS4 or Xbox One. You know, the Scorpio is on the horizon. The PS4 Pro is already out. We get that. We know we're not as powerful, right? What are we going to do? Lower the price.
I mean, the main component is the tablet. So the other components feeling kind of, I don't even know if cheap is really the word. They don't need to be much at that point.
Really? Yeah, exactly. It's just a controller at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So basically, there's not really much to talk about with that. Well, I have a little bonus topic.
Oh, no.
The NES Classic.
Oh, yeah.
I think I remember we were going to talk about that a little bit. So why don't we, this will be our little bonus topic before we end the podcast, see how much mileage we can get out of the NES Classic here.
That was the thing that was also selling out all the time.
Yeah.
And that's $100, if that.
It was $60 when it came out.
$60?
It was $60, and where I work, we sold out like immediately, and then scalpers would basically sell it on eBay for like tenfold the price.
Really?
You know, like in the thousands.
That's just silly.
You didn't hear about that?
Not to that extent.
It was like the hottest Christmas item. It was like everybody wanted to get their hand on the NES Classic. Mm-hmm. And I've heard people speculate that the NES Classic Edition was kind of like a promo tool. Speaking of, we can talk a little bit about the advertising the Switch did.
I'm not sure I even caught any advertising.
As opposed to the Wii U. They had a really good commercial.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the Super Bowl commercial that did really well. Like the Wii U suffered because it didn't really market itself as a new system. People thought it was the Wii on drugs. No, I mean, people thought that it was the Wii with a new accessory like a tablet.
Right.
That's what people thought it was. They didn't realize it was like an actual system. The Nintendo Switch did a shitload to advertise. They talked about it all the time. Wanted to make sure everybody knew it was a new system. Super good Super Bowl ad that was there that showcased exactly what it could do when you're at home, out and about. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. It's pretty cool. It'll make you want to buy a Switch. But Nintendo did a good job marketing the Switch, which is what I think is attributing to its early success.
Although, on the other hand, the details were sparse for a while. We didn't know a whole lot about it until like the week it came out, or after it came out. There were certain details missing, especially with like network capabilities.
The network capabilities are just kind of like it's free for now, so you're basically playing a beta version of it. So that way, because they know it's going to be terrible now, because it's in its beta phase. So they're giving it to you for free. Once it's fine-tuned and everything, then they're going to start charging you. Once it has everything on there that you need. Because like right now the internet's like on there, it's like barren. Like the interface on the thing I've seen, it's just it almost looks like just like a Windows phone or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's just very simple.
But I think that Sony and Microsoft are very upfront with the network capabilities and like what their interface is going to be like and what you can expect on your console well before the launch. So it was strange to me that Nintendo didn't share a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe they didn't share a whole lot because they knew that it wasn't going to be very, pretty.
Or that people don't care. It's like Zelda, that's all they need to know.
It just looks very basic, the interface. Maybe they'll update it in the future. Maybe they just wanted to rush it out. To be able to March is just an odd time to put it, or to have released it. Maybe they just wanted to get it out before the holiday season. Maybe because tax season right now. People get their tax return. That could be another reason why I'm launching it now. Back to my point earlier about the Nintendo Classic. Basically, I heard speculation that it was like an advertisement for it.
An advertisement for the Switch.
For the Switch. So this is a point I was supposed to make a while ago. But of course, I sidetracked, which I'm doing right now. All right.
Sidetracking the sidetrack.
I am. The NES Classic, some people speculate that it was an advertisement to hype it up. People didn't really have much hype for the Wii U. That's what I was getting at before, and I went on a tangent. Hey, let's release this classic system, see how it does, see if people eat it up. People still like the retro stuff. Sweet deal.
Hey, these are all the sweet franchises we have.
Yeah, we know that people. Yeah, exactly. We know that people are still eating us up, man. They're still eating our toes. They're still eating our fingers.
Our shells.
So they're kissing our hands. But yeah, I mean, I can totally see the NES Classic being a way to hype up the Switch because people had the Nintendo fever all over the holiday season. Mm-hmm. What if that Nintendo fever didn't happen? What would you have? Think what you would have before the Switch. The Wii Switch. You would have the Wii U. Not the Wii Me. Not the Wii Everyone. The Wii U. Yeah.
Wii?
The Wii, Wii U.
Wii?
I said not the Wii, though. The Wii. And the Wii U was kind of not very much of a success. Let's get real. Nope. It was not a huge success, if a success at all. Like you said before the podcast, or was it the podcast? They stopped I think it was. They stopped manufacturing the damn things.
Yep.
After what, 5 years? When did this thing come out?
Probably not even.
Not even. You could just look it up. So my point being is that they had a Nintendo system, and this is my speculation, or I'm borrowing speculation from others, that it was an ad.
Cite your sources, please.
It's fuck. A lot of this shit is opinion, and and also just in hearing it off the internet.
Almost 5 years.
5 years? So that's right. So yeah.
Good job, Eric.
Thank you. So think about that. NES Classic as a hype machine. Nintendo knew right away that people were still into Nintendo. People think of the NES Classic before they go to buy the Switch. So it's like a marketing technique.
Right.
Like, oh, the Nintendo Wii U was the last console that came out. I don't know if this is going to be any good. But you actually go back to the NES Classic, you think of that too. And you go, that's pretty good. Nintendo still got it. They still listen to their fans, their audience. So, without having to milk it, this little segment, literally, like the 1-2 switch, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at the classic console. I expect there will be more of them as well.
I heard they even had room to expand, like for updates and stuff like that.
I guess that wouldn't be hard to do. I'm sure the games are mere megabytes in size.
So hopefully they do expand on that, or they do continue to produce more of those, because those would sell like hotcakes. I personally wouldn't buy it because I already have all that shit really that I need on my Wii Virtual Console.
Sure.
So, but that's just me. That's just me.
The prices that you already paid for that on the Wii console is probably comparable to what it would be to just buy the console, provided you could find it.
Right, but I already paid.
So for the people who already who don't have it, good deal.
Mm-hmm. So the NES Classic, led to the Nintendo Wii Switch, where everybody played basketball after basketball, and that's what the Nintendo Switch was made for.
We're playing basketball.
Not playing digital basketball after you play real basketball with your friends. As the advertisement, you probably, because you didn't see any advertisements, that's why you're not getting it.
I thought you just lost your mind.
That's the ad. One of the ads for it was like, hey, look, you could fucking play basketball at the picnic benches with your friends after you play basketball. Wow. So
like a halftime game.
I think we're out of.
We're out of smarts.
I think we're out of smarts here. This podcast going on over an hour. That's really all I can think about talking about the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, you should get it. Play them sweet Nintendo games.
Yeah. So any final statements that you want to make, Mediocre dude?
Dude, Mario goes to New York City. How cool is that?
Pretty sweet. Kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog 06.
That's true.
You ever thought about that?
That was sweet.
Sonic took that route. Sonic Adventure 2.
Yep, sure did.
And also Sonic Adventure 1.
Cityscape was an awesome level, too.
It was. Sonic 06. Or Sonic Adventure 1 actually did that shit. I mean, Sonic's been running around in cities since the dawn of Sonic, if you think about it.
Sort of. I mean,
Metropolis Zone, and what's the second level in Sonic 2? That's a city.
Is it?
Yeah.
Isn't that a chemical plant?
Yes, chemical plant. But that's the size of like a civilization in a city, though. Or like society, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyways, the point Mario is finally getting into like the modern world. Our world. Pretty cool.
I mean, he blasted off into space before, though, so maybe join NASA or something.
He sure did, Mario 2. He was in a rocket ship. Oh, man. What good times. Alrighty. Nintendo Switch, 2 thumbs up for me. I think it's a great system. Haven't actually played it or touched it, but from what I see, it's definitely something that I would like to have at some point. Yeah.
I think Siskel and Ebert own the thumbs up. So.
I give it
2 nostrils flared.
2 nostrils flared. Sorry, I can't say I gave it 2 thumbs up, right? Maybe I could be like, one hand gave it a thumb up, the other hand gave it a thumb up. Simultaneously.
In unison.
So, I hope to get my hands on Nintendo Switch. Maybe someday in the future we'll do a donation on the stream to get one. For the channel.
For the channel.
For the channel.
Not for your own self-interest.
Well, I'll be playing Zelda Breath of the Wild, for sure, in my own free time. So, any other closing statements before we end this podcast for Nintendo Switch? Because we are just going on now, just going crazy right now. Comment section, leave below. Comment section, leave in the comment section below.
Put links in the comment section.
Your thoughts, everybody. We would like to know.
Please, we need your thoughts because we don't have any of our own.
Right.
Help us.
We have expelled all of our thoughts. This might be our longest podcast that we've done.
We need to refill.
So with that,
send help.
That guys, mediocre though. Any other closing statements? I'm going to keep asking you that.
When I changed my YouTube to be Mediocre Dude so I could contribute to the live stream and then people would know who I was. Now my browser says Mediocre, like all like in the top of the window. So I'm just always reminded that I'm mediocre.
Fuck yeah!
Thanks for that.
Fuck yeah! And guys, so I mean, I guess we're done with Nintendo. So basically, any thoughts on the channel right now at this time, Mediocre Dude, and your involvement in it?
Oh man, killing them with the live streams.
Yeah,
that's cool. I told you like months ago you should get in on that live stream.
Right.
You're like, I don't know if I'm ready.
We talked about it when we went to go see Game Grumps.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. Another thing to look out for with Mediocre Dude, you will see him in our Final Fantasy VII series. He plays somebody that starts with an S and ends with an Efroth. So who knows?
That's a tough puzzle.
That's a tough puzzle, guys. All right. Clearly, I'm just milking this cow like a 1-2 switch. So that was our Nintendo Switch podcast number 5. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to the Baddest Cast. Sjotyme.
Mediocre Dude.
Don't you have any kind of like funny quip that you want to say?
Ciao. Like Italian because of Mario.
Later, guys. Ciao.
There you go.